Shalom, and welcome back to B'nai Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. So when you look in the book of Numbers, chapter 20, verse 29, here, sadly, Aaron, that faithful leader, the high priest, the one who has been through thick and thin with the Jewish people, all the way from the beginning, from even before they left Egypt, during the enslavement, he and his brother were there, his brother, of course, that is Moses, were there to help save the Jewish people. And of course, later, they were the leaders of the Exodus and all the great miracles and wonders that God did through them. But now, this is all coming to an end. Of course, in the physical sense, Aaron passes away. And when Aaron passes away, what does the verse tell us? It says the entire congregation, the Torah community, saw that Aaron had passed, he had breathed his last breath, and Vayifku et Aharon 30 yom kol bet Yisrael. And the entire house of Israel cried for Aaron for 30 days, a 30-day mourning period. Now, in the Torah, typically, when the Torah refers to the people of Israel, it refers to them as the children of Israel, B'nai Yisrael. Here, it refers to them as the house of Israel. Is there a difference? The answer is yes. The house of Israel means the entire house. And typically the house, according to the Torah fundamentals, is primarily the woman, the women of the house, and of course the children, the household. When it says the children of Israel, that is typically a reference to mostly the men of Israel, the males. When it says the house of Israel, it includes everyone, especially the women. What is it about Aaron? You see, because when you look at the end of the Torah, all the way at the end, when Moses passes away, it says too that they cried for 30 days, but it only says that the, quote, children of Israel cried for 30 days. So for Aaron, the entire house of Israel cried, and for Moses, the children of Israel cried. So does that mean that for Moses, the women didn't cry, the children didn't cry? They didn't mourn his loss, his absence? Well, the answer is yes. Not as much as the women and the children and the entire house of Israel mourned the loss of Aaron. You see, Aaron had something unique about him. Aaron stood out in the following. You see, although he was obviously from the higher, perhaps the highest echelon of society, of Jewish society, he was the high priest. He was the brother of Aaron. He was there in the highest levels of authority, of holiness, in this social, the highest level of social, and the social pyramid, that is. And yet, Aaron would go out there, mingle with the people, especially perhaps the lowliest tier of society, the lowest tier of society. And there he would go about making peace, doing whatever he can to bring peace between brother and brother, between one person and another, and especially between husband and wife. In fact, so many children were able to attribute their existence, the fact that they were born, to this very special man, that is, to Aaron, for him having gone out there and made the effort to bring their parents together, back together in the first place. Now think about it. People who typically fight and quarrel, they're not necessarily in the highest tier of society. And yet, Aaron went out there to mingle with them and to do whatever he can to bring peace between one and another. In fact, if you think about it, this was a great self-sacrifice for him, at least from a spiritual standpoint. You see, the high priest wears the high priest garments, and we can understand that it's not just about wearing physical clothing. There is this special spiritual experience that he gets to experience when wearing those godly garments, those divinely inspired garments. Think about it. When he goes outside of the temple, he needs to take them off, put on ordinary clothing. He is now an ordinary person, at least in that sense. So here he would forego his own spiritual experience, his own, quote, spiritual enjoyment, to go out there and spend time with people, not just any people, not the people on his own level, but people on much lower level than he is. But he did it for the sake of bringing peace between one and another. He didn't, in other words, just focus on himself and those around him, those that were like him. Rather, he went out there to help those that are perhaps on a much lower level than he is. So think about it. When our time comes, how would we want to be missed? Only by our ilk, by our friends, those who are exactly like us, or by the broader community out there that can say, this person went out of his or her way to go help another. That's what makes your mark.